Her hands were trembling. That was new. She had never trembled before, not even when I caught her in smaller lies. The vague excuses, the late nights, the texts she swore were from co-workers. But now, her fingers hovered above the envelope like it carried something toxic. And when her eyes met mine, wide and desperate, voice barely above a whisper, she said, "You knew all along, didn't you?" I didn't flinch. "Read it." It's strange. Betrayal doesn't come crashing down like thunder. It seeps in, slow, cold, like frost crawling up your spine. There was a time I would have laid down my life for her, and she would have let me. I met Ava during grad school. She had this fierce brilliance about her, a sharp wit, a smile that could slice through stone. I fell hard, hooked on her mind, her ambition. We built our lives together from the ground up, business, house, future. I handled the groundwork, the risk. She added the polish, the charm. We made a good team, or so I thought. But love? Love makes you ignore the warnings, especially when it's your own shadow that's being cast over the truth. It began with subtle changes. Kisses that became quick. Her phone, always screen down. Password changed. Then she stopped asking questions about the company, our plans. Ava used to sit beside me deep into the night, soaking in every business forecast like it was poetry. But those nights faded. Now, she barely looked up when I walked in the room. Then came the emergency. She asked to open a new joint account, just in case, she said, for peace of mind. I agreed. I always did. 3 months later, she stopped contributing altogether. She needed time, she said, for herself. Yoga, journaling, retreats. Meanwhile, I kept working, shouldering everything, paying the bills, keeping us afloat. The truth didn't explode. It whispered. I was looking for a tax form when I found it. One paper, misplaced in her drawer. Not our joint account. Not anything I had access to. It was her own private account. And it held $712,450. That number stared back at me like a foreign language. While I'd been grinding nonstop, she'd been hoarding wealth behind my back, living her best life while I carried every burden. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I made a different decision. I started paying attention. Every time she lied, I noted the exact words. Every receipt she tossed, I collected. Every accidental autofill, every login she thought I didn't notice. I saved it. Piece by piece, I built my case. I smiled more, played the supportive partner, made dinner, held her close. And when she slept, I traced the path she thought she'd hidden. Turns out she wasn't just stashing money. She was stripping assets from the business we built, selling off pieces, creating shell accounts. All quietly, secretly, and methodically. She was clever, but I was patient, and patience wins wars. I hired a forensic accountant. Trusted, discreet. Together, we followed every transaction. Then I brought in an attorney, a friend who owed me. No leaks, no mistakes. We uncovered everything. That secret account, it wasn't for emergencies. It was her escape plan. She wasn't just going to walk away from me. She wanted it all. The business, the house, the life I helped her build. But what she didn't realize was the paperwork she signed last year. The restructuring. I told her it was for tax benefits. It handed me control of everything. The trademarks, the intellectual property, majority ownership. She signed it all over, without ever reading it. That envelope in her shaking hands, it held her own emails to a divorce lawyer. Her plan to walk away with a tidy sum, conveniently leaving out her hidden fortune. She looked at me, lips parted. I said, "I've already filed. With everything." She gave a brittle laugh. "You can't prove." I slid another document across the table. A full audit. Every transaction. Every shell company. All in her name. She paled. "Ash gray." "I did it for security," she whispered. I tilted my head. "And I'm not security?" It wasn't personal. "Of course it was," I said. "You just never thought I'd catch up." I stood, walked to the safe, pulled out one more envelope, the one I'd held for weeks. This is the only reason you're not in handcuffs, I said, because I don't need to ruin you. You'll do that on your own. She opened it slowly. It was a buyout clause. Her signature already on it. Not that she'd remember signing it. And even if she claimed it was forged, she'd buried so much evidence of her own crimes. She'd never be able to take me down without burying herself too. She left with nothing but her clothes. Now she lives in a cramped apartment, teaches yoga online, drives a beat-up Honda. Sometimes I see her pop up in social media ads, preaching about healing and self-worth. She never figured out who cost her that sponsorship deal. That last client who pulled out at the perfect time, that was me. I don't hate her. I don't even miss her. But I remember the lies, the silence, the betrayal. She almost got away with it. Almost. Some people think revenge means yelling, throwing plates, chaos. But the best kind? It's quiet, precise, surgical. You don't destroy them. You let their own choices do it for you. And then you walk away with everything they thought you were too blind to hold on to. Control, freedom, and the last word.